right. Now that we have our technical updates ready and set, we're going to get started. So again, welcome everyone to our Throop Unitarian Universalist Church Zoom worship this morning. My name is Liz Murphy and I am the Intern Minister at Throop UU. Before we really jump into our words of welcome, I just wanted to provide a few quick Zoom updates for you. You will be on mute by default, which I just mentioned, and really that just helps us to cut down on the background noise so we can all have the best experience and hear those who are leading the various elements of service. But that said, please, I encourage you to use the chat box throughout service. We'll have a few moments when we are able and encourage you to greet one another and offer some thoughts and feedback in the chat box. And related to that, our very own Josh Timon is our chat box host and greeter this morning. So he is giving us a thumbs up right now. He will be in the chat box. You can ask him questions. He'll be following up. So keep your eyes peeled for Josh over there. And those of you on the phone, hello. We're so glad you're here. Unfortunately, you won't be able to use the chat box, but we will be taking moments some of the messages in the chat box, so you're able to participate as well. And then lastly, for those of you who can see video, you can change the way you view your screen. You can look to the top right corner. You'll see gallery view, speaker view. Choose whichever one works best for you. The gallery view gives you sort of this Brady Bunch view, see lots of faces. Speakers amplify the person who is speaking. All right, so now we will begin with our words of welcome. Come into our virtual space of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. We welcome the certain and the seeking, the lifers and the newcomers, the beloved and the brokenhearted. All of you can find a home at Throop, where we go love the world from the heart of Pasadena and from the heart of our homes. Welcome again, and I want to pass over to Reverend Tara as we light our chalice this morning.
Thank you. Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. And this morning, as a symbol of that connection, we light our home chalices in a spirit of love, peace, and hope. Over and over, we hear that these are strange times, uncertain times, and unprecedented times. And yes, that's definitely true. It is so strange to be separated. There's no certainty when this will end, despite our best guessing games. And most of us have not experienced anything like this in our lifetimes. But this is also true. It's also true that in these days, we are still connected with one another. It's true that spring continues to unfold and blossom all around us. And it's true that even though you may be grounded at home, your love and your care embraces others across that distance. May the flames from our home chalices remind us that even though our days may feel uncertain and they may be uncharted, we have the constants of this community and of each other. And to continue to ground us in this particular faith community and group of people, we enter into a time of reciting our promise to our planet, words that are unique to Throop Unitarian Universalists, but of course the sentiment connects all Unitarian Universalists. Those words will be up on our screen, and I think we'll all be unmuted so we can hear the kind of wild cacophony of each other's voices as we share this. As members
of the family of living beings on earth,
We are guided by the universal principle of respect for the
interdependent web of existence of which we are part.
spirit is filled with love for it, is nurtured by its being,
Minds ruminating on ways to protect and scarce resources, nurture the
to
well-being
nurture the well-being
of the planet itself.
Thank you. We'll spend a few moments welcoming each other in the chat box.
Yeah, so as you feel able and interested, I encourage you to add your welcomes and your greetings to one another in the chat box, and Reverend Tara and I will read a few of those aloud. Brandy is sharing her welcome for everyone. Glad you're here. Tim is offering his thanks for this community. Joe says, good morning to you all. Diane says, hi everybody, week 5. I still miss you. Kimberly offers her good mornings. Taryn, good to be with everyone. Andriana, good morning all. Joe, you congregation going strong. That's right. Terry's offering her happy Sundays. Lynn says, good morning, everyone. Denise is sharing, thank you all for being here. Rachel and Dave, good morning, friends. Josh sharing his observation that when we all speak together, it kind of sounds like we're communicating via radio from all over the world. I think that might be true. Reverend Tara says, good morning. Always so good to see your faces, to read your words, and to hear your voices. Jamal, greetings. Clara shares, happy to share time with my beloved troopers. And lastly, Melanie says, it gives me hope every week to see you all continuing to come back. I love you. Well, blessed be and amen to all of these greetings and notes of welcome. Thank you all for your enthusiastic warmth, embrace of one another through the chat box. It really is one of my highlights every Sunday worship morning. So now we are going to turn to song. We're going to sing together hymn number 21 in your gray hymnal. If you happen to have your hymnal at home, that's great. You can pull that out. Hymn 21 is For the Beauty of the Earth. If you don't have a hymnal, please don't worry. We will have a video with Chris singing the hymn, and we'll have the lyrics listed in the video so you can sing along at home, just like we were in church. Tara, I think the audio is missing. If you're able to turn on the audio and screen share.
Do it live.
I am trying to find that setting on my computer.
So when you click the screen share button, the pops up should have an option at the very bottom that says share my audio.
Brilliant.
Ministry across many platforms, friends. We're all learning.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you know what? We're having some technical glitches this morning, and that's okay. This is a hard time. We're all trying to figure it out. Thank you, Chris, for that beautiful hymn. And we're going to move into a time now. We're thinking a little bit more about being human, living this human experience right now. Sometimes technology is not with us, and that is okay. But we're here together with one another, and that is the important thing. And so this Sunday service, we're thinking about not only Earth Day coming up, but also the realities of this Earth Day. This coming Wednesday, April 22nd, is the 50th anniversary of this important day. And I've been thinking about how we can, as a church community, celebrate this day. It doesn't feel so simple to think about how we might answer that question now that many of us are staying inside and following these safer at home orders. And I've been wondering, I think many of you probably have been too, how do we stay grounded? How do we stay centered, stay rooted as we navigate all of this change? I was racking my brain searching for symbols or practices to help me answer those questions, and an image popped into my head, a labyrinth. Has anyone here walked a labyrinth before? Show of hands. See, a few are familiar with it. So labyrinths are an ancient symbol. They've existed across time and cultures. They show up in Europe, North Africa, Southern Asia, North and South America, really across the globe. This image shows up in clay pots, in coins, in tapestries, in writings. And in Greek mythology, this may be one of the main reasons you've heard of a labyrinth before. The labyrinth contained the terrifying Minotaur. And in later years, around the 4th century, labyrinths also started popping up in churches. Many of the modern labyrinths you'll see across the world exist now outside, made out of rocks or paths trodden into the grass. They are embedded in the earth. So labyrinths hold a special place within our story of humanity. I'd like us to watch a short video now to share with everyone what I'm talking about for those of you who aren't as familiar with labyrinths, especially in their sort of modern existence. And I just want to offer my thanks to the First United Methodist Church of Santa Monica for creating this video. Well, it looks like Reverend Tara's computer is mad at her this morning. So Reverend Tara, I'm going to try and share that video from my computer, if that's okay with you. All right. So I see a few of you in the chat box have shared you have gotten lost in labyrinths and have seen some at other churches. I'm glad to hear that. So we'll take a look at this one here. They come in many shapes and sizes. So as you can see, labyrinths are really quite simple. They allow us time to take each step with mindful intention to bring us around to the center of things, the center of that spiral, and to the center, I think, of ourselves too. And they even have us, whether we realized it or not, walking in circles. So I'd like to share now a short excerpt from the book An Altar in the World by Barbara Brown Taylor, one of my favorite theologians. I think she beautifully illustrates the power of taking time to walk in circles, which is the theme of our service this morning. She writes, "You might even walk in a small circle so that you have a chance to see the same things over and over again, seeing something different in them each time. The last time you walked by the daylily, a drop of dew was hinging from one orange petal, shining like a small sun. This time it is gone, thanks to a small breeze that is cooling your upper lip. Consider the lilies of the field, Jesus said, but you do not consider them, not usually, or at least not like this. What else have you missed in your rush from here to there? You may have had to handle your anxiety about being seen walking in circles with no shoes on, but even that can be revelatory. Why are you so afraid of what people may think about you? Since when did looking good become your God? As long as you are on the earth and you know it, you are where you are supposed to be." So friends, Barbara Brown Taylor is reminding us, we are here on earth, we are here together. And now as we've talked a little bit more about this idea of the labyrinth and sort of the gifts that it can offer us, I want us to take a moment and I'm asking you to be a little silly with me this morning. Take a moment of quiet intention. I invite you to take 3 minutes or so, if you're able, to stand up from your seats and to walk in a circle, slowly, around your home or wherever you are this morning. Whether you want to stay in the room you're in or let yourself wander further afield, I encourage you to move slowly and with a sense of wonder at all that surrounds you, like you're seeing it for the very first time. And if you're unable to move about, I encourage you to take a moment in your seat to slowly take in your surroundings in the room you're in. Slowly gaze at each wall, at each item, on each shelf. While we walk our labyrinth at home, we're going to hear a beautiful and sort of circuitous piece by Chris, our music director. So let us begin. Let us take a moment to walk our labyrinths. Well, folks, if you are not back to your computer, I encourage you to start the slow journey back there. And I thank you for following through on this little moment of engagement this morning and getting up from our seats together. I'd like to take a moment now as you're coming back to your seats and taking in that beautiful music from Chris and the experiences that you just had walking around your space or gazing around your space, taking it in as if it was the first time you were feeling your feet on the ground or seeing this room you're in. I wonder if you might share some of those reflections in the chat box, and we can offer some thoughts and feelings and emotions that may have stirred up within you, engaging that labyrinth moment. Each of us individually, but also together as a community, doing it at the same time. So as you are feeling called, feel free to type that into the chat box. And we have some wonderful thanks and gratitude for Chris's beautiful playing. Here to that. Clara saying is lovely. And Tim, beautiful job. Brandy, wonderful composition. Agreed. Denise is sharing, you know, this was a hard thing for her. She spent too much time in her room in her house and nothing looked or felt unfamiliar. And that's an okay experience too. I think we're all sort of having these push and pull moments right now. Stephen just discovered his front porch. Fantastic, some outside time. Diane sharing, it felt great to walk so slowly. Melanie sharing that it was a lovely chance to see my same surrounding with new eyes of gratitude. Thank you. The music absolutely helped. I think so too. Madeline shared the Plinskys sharing, I'm in the process of moving and have disarray all over. Good time to reflect. Josh sharing that he definitely saw things in his house that he had not seen before. Francis sharing that the last 4 years have been gigantic, circling to here and all it implies. Lots of good food for thought. Hillary sharing that she appreciated the carpet underfoot, so soft. The Whitliffs share their gratitude for the beautiful music and the chance to slow down. Although found it challenging not to put dishes in the dishwasher during the labyrinth. I feel that too, those nagging things. Mary appreciates the nature around. And Terry noticed that she is barefoot at church. Hey, look at that. So thank you all for engaging that labyrinth moment with me. I absolutely resonate that there are times when it feels almost like feelings of frustration and disappointment arise when we try something like that. And that's okay too, because I think that allows us to feel centered with how we are in the moment. And for those for whom it gave you a moment to slow down, to feel the soft earth beneath you, to feel grounded, I'm glad for that as well. So friends, we're going to now move into a time of meditation and prayer and continued reflection. So now that you've come back to your seats, I encourage you to find a comfortable seat in your chair, to place your hands in your lap or at your sides, or perhaps if you need a little extra comfort this morning, give yourself a little hug or put your hands on your heart. And then I encourage you to begin to flutter your eyes closed as you slow down and listen to the rhythm of your body. Inhale and exhale. This morning, as we celebrate the earth, we're going to take a meditative tour of one of our most celebrated shared corners of the earth, the Throop Learning Garden on our church campus in Pasadena. Most of you have been there, but some of you have not. If you haven't visited yet, I encourage you to think back to those images of the garden at the start of our service and to allow your imagination to work alongside all of us here in this moment. So please take a deep breath in with me as you imagine yourself walking through the parking lot and toward the herbs. It's a warm day, much like today, and we're walking together as we feel the gentle breeze at our backs, shining brightly, illuminating our path. We round the corner and enter the tall and verdant area of herbs and greens. We spot the 10-foot-tall purple tree collards that look to be growing taller by the minute. We reach out and touch the red amaranth, the spinach, the purple fang, the bitter melon. Recipes and remedies and tea ideas sprout to mind as we give thanks for this voluminous patch of growth. As we continue down the path, we each take a turn perching our hand atop the wire fence that surrounds the compost pile. A cycle of dormancy and rebirth is present. Life is growing here. As we turn the next corner, we are welcomed by a few bees flying through the air, off to the next growing bud, helping to pollinate everything in sight. Fruit trees and bushes are growing tall and wide. They're almost picture perfect from this view as we're rounding the corner. It's our bountiful, this one. So sweet and so vibrant. Okay, maybe we'll try just one more. As we take our next bite, we move from tree to tree, taking a closer look at the growing apricots and plums and apples and persimmons. And of course, the weeds are creeping their way in. They're part of this space too. Let's harvest some of the blackberries and blueberries and pomegranates. We lay the bounty into our woven basket to share it with everyone. What a gift this place is. Once we've filled our basket to the brim, we turn toward the front steps. We take each stone step forward with intention and meaning. We wind our way to the section of the flower garden. We take a closer look at the snapdragons, the hollyhocks, the Canterbury bells, the marigolds. The sea of colors is something to behold. A monarch caterpillar slowly inches its way up one of the stalks. This creature is on a journey too. It's been a beautiful walk together. It's time for a break. We take a moment to sit on the bench under the palm shade by the front doors. We take a deep breath in and out. With this breath, we share our gratitude for this space and for this community that tends it with love, with care, and with compassion. Friends, as long as you are on the earth and you know it, you are where you are supposed to be. Let us take one final breath in and out together. And as you come back into your home space, as we finished this meditative tour of our beautiful garden, allow your eyes to open, to feel your fingers and toes. And let us share together with gratitude for this time. Blessed be and amen. The miracle is not to walk on water, but on the earth. Those are wise words from Buddhist monk and global spiritual leader Thich Nhat Hanh. He's referring to the biblical story in which Jesus walks on water, much to the shock and surprise of his disciples. Now, that certainly seems miraculous to me, but what Thich Nhat Hanh is getting at with his statement is something much simpler. For us, walking on water might not be in the cards, but there is something miraculous happening when we feel ourselves rooted in place, rooted on the earth. When we feel the dirt or the sand or the waves beneath our feet, we are grounded. And that is nothing to cast off as merely mundane. This leader is reminding us that it's a gift. It is indeed a miracle. And church, we are living in a time when we could use a miracle or two, aren't we? There are the obvious things like the illness and isolation that we are all dealing with. But there are the less visible things too, like plans diverted, dreams delayed, and simple pleasures suspended. These disappointments, these fears, these moments of grief add up. They pile higher and higher and higher until it seems like the weight of it all is going to topple right over onto us. And coping with it all has gotten me up and moving, pacing around my apartment, maybe in my own way trying to escape that teetering pile of anxiety and disappointments. And I'll be honest, I felt silly at first. Moving along this apartment-wide route, I realized I was walking in circles. I was treading the same path over and over again. Was it a little wacky? Yeah, maybe. Walking in circles is not exactly a sign that you've got it all together, typically. In fact, biologists have studied this phenomena throughout the generations. Walking or crawling or flying or swimming in circles is something of a trend in the animal world. When we lose our way, we meaning humans or caterpillars or foxes or rabbits or fish or seagulls, we inadvertently start moving in circles. And there are lots of reasons for this. Some caterpillars leave a scented trail to remember how to get home, making a big loop. Small mammals sometimes do it to escape larger predators. Human children make big loops with their crayons, and studies show that we, human adults, do it when we're lost on the trail and visibility is low. By and large, we're all circling and circling to try to find safety, to find home, to get to the center of our labyrinths. But what Barbara Brown Taylor and Thich Nhat Hanh and even Jesus of Nazareth remind us is this: you are already home. You just haven't noticed it yet. Earlier this week, as I stayed on my circular path here in my apartment, and I quieted my mind, taking each step slowly and with purpose, I started to feel something other than anxiety. A sense of calm crept in and took its place. I was inadvertently having a labyrinth moment. I was experiencing this miracle of walking on the earth, to feel rooted in place. And on this Earth Day celebration Sunday, we have created something of a small miracle as a community too, walking our circles at home, separately, but also together. May this practice of walking in circles keep us rooted in this place, in this time, anchoring us to ourselves, to our earth, and to this community of good-hearted souls. Blessed be, and amen. I encourage you to take another deep breath in and out with me as we transition out of this time of prayer and reflection and into a time of music. We're going to hear now a musical performance from Michael Kelly, one of our super troopers. He has created a beautiful rendition of Ray LaMontagne's song, Be Here Now, which Michael suggested to me, saying it seems like the song was written for this moment. It offers consolation and hope, and it reminds us to live rooted on the earth. Be here now. I want to offer my gratitude to Michael for creating this beautiful piece for us all to hear. And as we listen, we'll watch a Throop home video of sorts. It's a video that Reverend Tara took in the Throop Learning Garden this week. It's a tour of our sacred and shared stretch of earth, led by George.
Don't let Don't let your heart get heavy, child, inside you. There's a strength that lies, hides. Don't let your soul get lonely, child, it's only time, it will go by. Don't look for love in places, it's in you, that's where you'll find kindness. Don't lose your faith in me, and I will try not to lose faith in you. Don't put your trust in walls, 'cause walls will only crush you when they fall.
Now we will continue this moment of gratitude as I turn things over to Reverend Tara.
Thank you, Liz, and everyone. Well, the day I was at Throop and was with George in the garden, I ran into another super trooper on the other side of the church building, Terry Trindler. And as we sat with our compassionate spacing 6 feet apart from each other, Terry looked up at our building and she wondered, you know, what's the identity of this building of ours? Does it have a gender? Does it have some kind of personality? You know, like, what would you call it? And Terry has some of her own ideas that she may share with you at a later point. But I was reminded that I often think about Throop as the little engine that could, because Throop has encountered, as some of you know, like lots of mountains and hills and obstacles across our tracks, and yet we've continued to move forward and go on. We think we can, we think we can, we know we can, we know we can. And the thing that powers our little engine that could is really, it's all of you. And you power it through your heart energy, you power it through all of the ways you support and nurture one another. And it's true that you also power it with your personal finances. And we're aware that some of you have resources to share right now and others of you don't. And you are powering our little engine that does in other ways. Tomorrow, Monday, you'll receive a letter from Liz and me, and it's the kickoff of our stewardship campaign. And we know that it comes at an uncertain and odd time in the world, but in our letter, we'll be inviting you to reflect on Throop and your financial contributions, and for you to think about what kind of contribution is meaningful for you at this time in your life. And this morning, three other super troopers, Rachel, Dave, and Ripley, they're gonna share about the ways that Throop has made an impact in the life of their family. So Rachel and Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. When Rachel and I moved to Los Angeles from New York about 15 years ago, we didn't know anyone here, and we came to sort of start a new life. We really struggled to find community. It was a challenge for us. So when we moved to Pasadena in October, the city of churches, Rachel suggested that maybe we try a UU church, and since the values and the spirit of the UU church was in line with the kind of life we were trying to live, Ripley and I were both really open to it. So we came to Throop for the first time, and we were all really struck by how we fit in instantly, how we were welcomed, how we found a connection that was really kind of precious to us. And it was in everyone's smiles and the way everyone talked to us and looked us in the eye. We felt like we were home. And it was really an amazing gift for us, where we were so touched by it. We're very grateful for all of you and for all of you being a part of our lives, and for the opportunity to share our lives with all of you. And we are especially grateful to the people who came before us. Even though we feel like we've been a part of Throop forever, that we know that a lot of you were here before us and you kept Throop going, and you built it up so it was there when we needed it.
And before we moved out here, I worked at a nonprofit for about 10 years. And then when Ripley was a baby, she was at a nonprofit little cooperative preschool. And I was on the board of that. And, you know, I just have some experience with how fragile a nonprofit can be, and even without extenuating circumstances such as these, how tenuous it is, and how important the membership is, and how much the membership really allows for the existence of such a place. And so at Throop, as Dave said, what an amazing membership, like just the diversity in individuals, but also in your talents and your abilities, and the way you're so generous with these gifts is just, it's palpable as soon as you come there, as soon as you enter the building. And we've just been so impressed by the generosity. So for us, we're not musical, we don't have as many talents as some of you, but we're still figuring out, exactly what we can give, but we definitely have made a decision to make a financial contribution, and to increase that now, because we know that it's a long road ahead of us, but together we'll get through it, and everyone will give what they can. And we just want to make sure that the church is here, not just for us and for our daughter as she grows up, but for the next family that comes along, and for the next individual that comes along looking for a place, and to keep it strong the way you have all kept it strong for us when we needed it, and when we need it going forward, and for all the people who did so before all of us. So we're just so grateful for all of you, and we hope we can do this in person again soon.
Thank you so much for sharing. And again, as we've been lifting up, our little engine that could is powered by love and commitment and care and support, and that comes in so many different ways. And one of those ways is financial, but other ways are through sharing music and growing flowers, and reaching out to one another by phone for mutual care. And this church is ours, and we do support it. Now is your opportunity. If you want to make a donation right this second, in the chat box, you can see our donate online link, or the text to give option. Thank you all so much for supporting our life together at Throop. So I invite you to just take a breath in, breathing in gratitude for all of the people in our Throop community, and breathing out love and peace to our earth. And we'll say together the words of thanks for the offering. It's come up on our screen. And here we go. for the ministries
of the church
in our community.
Bless our
offering.
offering with
Love.
love and fruit.
Now, friends, we've had our time of gratitude. It is time to extinguish our chalices, both here and at home. And as we do, we have a few announcements this morning. As always, we are having several weekly connections. There are a few links that we will share in the chat box for you with everything that's going on this week. We also give our gratitude to our small group facilitators. They're keeping our connections alive and fresh and growing despite this safer at home time. So now we will end service with a joyful prayer. Go forth in simplicity, find and walk the path that leads to compassion and wisdom, that leads to happiness, peace, and ease. Welcome the stranger and open your heart to a world in need of healing. Be courageous before the forces of hate. Hold and embody a vision of the common good that serves the needs of all people. Go in peace, blessed be, and amen. And now we will enjoy a postlude from Chris, our music director. For those of you who are able to stay for our coffee time after service, that will begin just after our postlude. For those of you who need to move on to other activities for your Sunday afternoon, we wish you peace and a joyful Sunday afternoon. All right, welcome to Coffee Hour. I'm going to unmute us all now so we can hear from one another and share.
Hey everyone. Hello, Robia.
Hello.